When politics gets personal, the firebombing fiasco that turned British democracy into a soap opera. Let's be honest, nobody expects the job of Prime Minister to be a walk in the park. But in 2025, it seems even the family dog isn't safe from the crossfire. This isn't just about party politics, parliamentary spats, or the latest Twitter pylon. No, we've now entered a world where political extremism comes with a literal risk of your sister-in-law's house being set alight because someone doesn't like your immigration policy. Welcome to the wild and deeply weird new era of British politics, where the only thing more absurd than the headlines is the fact that they are all true. Picture this. It's May 12th. Most of us are snuggled under our duvets, dreaming of lower grocery bills and fewer potholes. But somewhere in Kentish Town, someone decides to mark their disagreement with the Prime Minister by setting his former home ablaze. If you're thinking, surely that's the worst of it, think again. This wasn't a lone wolf with a box of matches. In a move that would make Mission Impossible look like amateur hour, 3 separate fires hit properties linked to the Prime Minister, including a car he'd sold to a neighbor. Apparently, political grudges in 2025 last longer than your average gym membership. But the real kicker? The house targeted is currently occupied by the PM's sister-in-law, living there for peppercorn rent. Imagine your next family dinner. Sorry about the attempted arson. Hope it didn't ruin your morning tea. Awkward doesn't even begin to cover it. It would be comical if it weren't so disturbing. The Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, responded with a sort of dignified outrage you'd expect, an attack on all of us, on our democracy and the values we stand for. Now, Starmer is known for making even a shopping list sound like the Magna Carta, but behind the political phrasing lies a genuinely terrifying reality. 1 minute, his sister-in-law is worrying about taking the bins out. The next, she's the unwitting center of an international terrorism investigation. To add fuel to the fire, pun intended, the case quickly morphed from local crime to international incident. Police arrested a 21-year-old suspect, but that was just the beginning. Soon, Ukrainians and Romanians were in court. Counter-terrorism officers started investigating whether this was just a case of homegrown extremism or if there was hostile state involvement. If you thought Brexit was peak British political chaos, you were sorely mistaken. There's something uniquely British about a national crisis that also manages to be a family drama. The sister-in-law, just trying to live in North London without going bankrupt, suddenly finds herself a symbol of the madness that has overtaken public discourse. She didn't sign up for any of this, but now she's at the heart of a story that feels equal parts EastEnders and House of Cards. Tomorrow's history books will no doubt footnote this saga. Democracy was threatened, and a perfectly innocent woman just trying to pay her rent nearly paid the price. It's democracy by arson, politics by pyromaniac, and frankly, it's absolutely mental that this is where we are as a country. So, what does this whole firebombing fiasco say about the state of British politics? For one, it's a stark warning of what happens when disagreements are no longer settled with words, but with petrol and matches. When political opponents become targets and family members collateral damage, we've crossed a line from robust debate into outright madness. It's not just about Keir Starmer or his policies. It's about the foundational belief that political discourse ought to be safe, even, especially, for those who didn't volunteer to be in the spotlight. In a world where politicians' families can become targets, nobody is truly safe from the consequences of political extremism. You might be tempted to laugh at the absurdity, but stories like this matter. They are a grim reminder of what's at stake when public debate breaks down. If we let anger and extremism replace reasoned argument and mutual respect, we all lose. The very fabric of democracy, boring, flawed, and occasionally infuriating as it is, depends on our willingness to disagree without destroying each other's homes. So, as the news cycle spins on and the next scandal looms, remember the sister-in-law in North London. She didn't ask for any of this, but her story shines a light on just how far down the rabbit hole we've gone. If we want to climb back out, we'll need more than fire alarms. We'll need to rediscover the lost art of political civility. And that, dear reader, is your dose of British political madness for today. If you made it to the end, give yourself a round of applause and maybe check your own smoke alarms, just in case.